Hello everybody, we're back at another session of our cooking class for New Horizons seniors and youth. Today we're going to do chicken cacciatore, one of my favorite dishes. Chicken cacciatore originally is a dish that could be made from rabbit or chicken. Cacciatore simply means hunter's meal, okay? So you can basically assume that the hunters were going in, they were shooting rabbits, gathering rabbits, and making this dish from it. Standard recipe includes tomatoes, oregano, basil, onions, celery, mushroom, and of course cheese. Okay, well, it's easy enough to start with this dish. I pre-cut a chicken into pieces. You can buy pieces, you can buy chicken legs, you can buy chicken thighs. I like using the whole chicken. I like the chicken breasts, I like the chicken legs. So I cut the pieces up, including cutting the chicken breast into 3 or 4 different slices, different size pieces. So we're gonna take the chicken and we're gonna place that into a bowl. And in with that bowl, we're going to create a very simple marinade. We're going to take just a light vegetable oil and just give it a little bit of a coating. We don't want it swimming, we just want a nice little coating. In the top of that, we're going to put in some basil. And we're going to put in some oregano. Roughly a teaspoon of each. A little more, a little less, that's totally up to you. We've cut up some garlic, and we're going to use some garlic in the pan when we're doing a fry, but we're also going to put a little bit in with our marinade now. See if we can get that mixed up a little bit. And we're going to give it a little shot of salt and pepper. Just like that. Now we're going to let that sit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You don't need to go anything past a half hour. If you have a half hour, that's even better. Okay, well, we've waited 15-20 minutes for our marinade to really sink in and flavors to be absorbed by the chicken. And we're just going to put it into our pan. Now I chopped up the chicken earlier and I saved the backbone. I saved a couple of the scraps, and at any time, feel free to throw those in the freezer, pull them out at another time, and make yourself some really nice chicken stock. Then we're going to brown that off for, 15-20 minutes or so, about 10 minutes on each side. So we've been browning off our chicken for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes on each side. Not quite brown enough yet, but in the meantime, I'm going to get another side dish going here, and we're just going to put our vegetables in, which are including our mushrooms, our red pepper, celery, and onions. And we're going to sweat these. We're not really going to brown them too much. We're just going to bring them up to temperature, get them soft. And right at the end of that dish, I don't know if you saw at the end of that plate, we had some garlic. The chopped garlic was also in there. So we're going to let this fry up. We're just going to soften this up. Now what I like to do at this point, when she's drying out a little bit, don't add any more oil. Off to the side I have a little bit of chicken stock, and we're going to use that to really enhance the flavor of the dish. And right now you need a little bit of moisture in here to steam it up a little bit. So we're going to cook it down with some chicken stock. Now, that was chicken stock that I made from our old bones from the last time. So again, if you have any of the cuttings, any of the bones, if you deboned anything at all, save those. That'll make a nice stock you can use for any dish. Okay, we just softened all of our vegetables. We have a really nice looking, just translucent for the onions, little soft for the celery, but we're not getting anything overcooked at this point. And we're going to transfer this on top of our chicken. And at this point, we're going to add roughly 14 ounces crushed tomatoes. Now this is actually the diced, but you can use diced or crushed. I prefer the crushed, but this one is actually made with Canadian tomatoes from Leamington, and they didn't have the crushed. So I would rather support our local farmers than any other brand. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to put a cover on that. We're going to turn it down. And we're going to let this simmer for, roughly 10 or 15 minutes on top of the stove. And we're going to finish it up inside the stove. At this stage, I like to add a little bit of vinegar. You can use vinegar, you can use red wine. I actually do use just a standard red wine vinegar. Any one of the store brands is fine, okay? If you have a chance to get a good one, there are some really good ones out there. Look around, give it a try. Adds a nice flavor. Again, if you have some red wine in the house, you can go with that instead. All right. And just as a little extra, and again, totally optional, not traditional at all, I add a little shot of either Tabasco, any of the hot sauces you like. Again, totally an optional thing. You'll be surprised. It does not end up as a hot dish. It simply adds a little bit of a different flavor to your dish. At this point, just take your standard, whatever your house pasta is, your favorite, and of course, salt your water. Make sure you have a decent amount of salt. I'm not a salt person, but sorry, pasta needs salt. Well, that's cooking. Our chicken is almost ready to top. Okay, so we're going to cover the top in grated mozzarella. Give it a good coating. And some shredded Parmesan. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off the topping. That looks real good. And we're going to put that into the oven. We preheated our oven to 300 degrees. 300 degrees, probably 15, 20. You can check it at that point. Again, you want a nice and tender chicken, so roughly 20 minutes. Here's our finished dish coming out of the oven. Our pasta is almost finished, and we're going to plate it up for you. Okay, we finished off our pasta noodles. They're all nice and al dente. Don't overcook your noodles. Just that little bit of firmness on the center. Your sauce is still really nice and hot. By the time you plate everything, you will find that your noodles are complete. Okay, well, we just plated our chicken cacciatore. I sprinkled a little bit extra Parmesan over the top, laid a few basil leaves on top just to finish it off. There's a nice meal for 3 or 4 people in your house, that's for sure. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you have fun trying out this recipe.